The gap between hope and heartbreak is just 9 points as round 16's final battlers enter the ring. The hosts have rung the changes after, by their own admission, shuffling the deck a little bit too hard for Sharks' visit a week ago. It's an all-new, all-international front row before an engine room of Exeter captains past and present. Dorothy Wall shifts from lock to blindside, forming an inexhaustible trio with Ireland's Adele McMahon and US Eagle Rachel Johnson. Flo Robinson returns to pair Liv McGovern at halfback before a familiar backline and a bench just oozing physicality and class. One bad performance doesn't mean you're a bad team, Ross Chisholm said in the week, and he's trusted 13 of the 15 who were so off colour against Saracens to lather, rinse and retaliate. The pack is unchanged and know these parts very well. Sylvia Tarani, Lizzie Hanlon, Abby Fleming and Harriet Miller-Mills were all Chiefs before they were Harlequins, and the only fresh faces out wide are the prodigious Ella Cromack and returning Langi Tuima. Claudia Pena is more impressive by the week. And you might have heard of Harlequins fullback. We all call this place Fortress Sandy Park so readily they should probably change the sign at the entrance. But recently, the ramparts have looked a little fragile after proving virtually undefeatable here since their league debut. Susie Appleby's women have lost their last 3 in their own backyard. There was a startling crack from TW2 last weekend as Harlequins' 10-match winning streak was snapped with relish by a snarling Saracens. And Chisholm's sides look both out of accuracy and ideas. A week later, the wounds are licked and they are ready for their latest heavyweight opponent. Quinn's final fixtures are devilish. Sarries face the Chiefs today and Bears and Gloucester Hartbury to round things off. It is a long run for home, but they have certainly got the athletes, and a win today guarantees them a spot in the semis. Poppy Leach, brought on at half-time last week to steady a sinking ship, is back in the captain's armband at a ground which has never seemed more conquerable. If Quins had a rude awakening in round 15, then Chiefs remained trapped in a nightmare, thrashing around in a storm, attacked by Sharks, and wondering when the bad dream that has been their 2025 will end. The side who clinched 8 in a row early doors have won just once in the new year. They're not panicking, they've got a game in hand, but they know the magnitude of the next 80. Fortunately for fans of Devonian rugby, they love this fixture. 9 played, 7 wins for Exeter, 1 draw and a solitary Quins victory. Chiefs haven't lost to the Londoners since October 2020, and they have never come unstuck against them here. George Selwood, fresh off the plane from Perth, where he was overseeing the HSBC Sevens, is in the middle for this one. James Cornell and Kevin Williams are his assistants, and it's David Rose in the TMO truck. Beneath cool grey skies in a swirling breeze, the hosts wear black and their visitors white. There is no room for error in this season's top 4 race. No freebies or go-backs, no forgiveness or lenience. The stakes are high and the floor is lava. Chiefs Quins with it all on the line. Kick-off caught cleanly by Claudia MacDonald in that newly introduced black scrum cap. But then a hard collision there, and Dalika Menon not rising. Time is called off, and it is a great relief to see her moving on the floor there as she receives every possible bit of support. World Cup winning captain Katie Daly-McLean joins me in commentary, having dashed up to the gantry here at Sandy Park. But the first voice we will hear from here is that of our TMO, David Rose, who's going to review the incident.
Yeah.
George, here the angle's coming now.
Thank you.
What are we looking at here, Casey?
So we've just got a bit of a head collision, haven't we? If we watch it from this angle, the late movement of Dalika Menon, I think Tarani just gets her head on the wrong side there, makes clean contact.
And the player's upright, so we've got foul play there as well. We go through degree of danger. I'm seeing a decent level of force here, so I'm starting at a high degree of danger. So we start a red card, but I'm seeing that step in as a mitigating factor. You guys agree with that? Yeah, exactly. So I'm going from a red card down to a yellow card. David, is that what you're seeing as well?
Yeah, there is definitely a change of direction at that point where the contact's made.
Okay. So is that number 3 then? Rosie?
Just checking now for you.
Yeah.
Just trying to get you the number.
So sitting up now, which is brilliant to see, is Canada's Dalika Menon. She
Number
wears
one,
number
George.
3. Wearing number 1 is
Thank you
Sylvia
very much.
Tirani
Number
of
1, yellow
Italy,
card.
who will be emerging from that Harlequins huddle to learn that she has been shown a yellow card with 17 seconds on the clock.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I think, look, it's a really, really clear explanation, isn't it? It's what you want from your referee. Started at red, that late movement at the scene, that's why it's been mitigated down to yellow. So I think probably a fair decision, but, you know, big for Quins to lose your prop after 17 seconds. Penalty to get Exeter in the corner, an opportunity for Exeter to take some early points.
Okay, you ready?
Well, Harlequins have been shorn of their loose head, but losing their tight head.
It's not a
seems the
scrum.
Appleby's side,
No,
and we
it's a
cannot
penalty for the high tackle.
overstate, can we, the importance of Dalika
ready?
Menon to this side. An extraordinary athlete, made the team of the week with 39 explosive minutes against Sale. You witnessed that performance firsthand.
She was absolutely phenomenal. I've known Dalika Menon for a long time. I played with her at Loughborough. She's been around. She is a phenomenal front row. She changed the mould of a front row. You think of your Sarah Burns, your Hannah Bottoman. She was one of the first to do that. Carry, scrummage, handle. Very, very talented and a big loss.
So it's Florence Long, who is on wearing 18, introduced with about that many seconds played of the game. Finds herself on lifting duties, but it's Rachel Johnson thrusting the ball backwards from the base of that one. And Gabby Cantona, US Eagle, carrying into the 22 for the first time today. Hope Rogers with a chug and Long in support. Here is Dorothy Wall, unmissable in that Barbie scrum cap. Now Merrin Deutsch. Tackle made by Connie Powell, the Red Rose. Patient play this from Exeter Chiefs. What a dream start this would be. Abby Fleming wondered if she might have just jackaled that one, stripped it 10 metres before the sticks. But it stays black for now. And look at the numbers they have amassed down this touchline. Deutsch had support to her outside in the form of McDonald, but didn't give it. She carries instead. Picking and going is Rachel Johnson, who's been very well wrapped up by the towering figure of Caitlin Leaney. But where there is hope, there is a way. And Rogers is over for her 8th of the season. She is a tour de force in a Black Chiefs jersey.
She really is. 8 tries in 6 games from your loose head prop. What a stat. Exeter blessed, like we said, with carrying front row Rogers, Totosi, and obviously Menon there. But you just watch them play through the hands. Merrin Dodge, probably one she should have given. I'm sure Claudia McDonald will have a word in her ear there. But Kate Johnson again, great last weekend, carried so well. But it's that lady on your screen, Hope Rogers, and your back isn't going to stop her from there, is she?
Yeah, tries good, mate.
Thanks, David.
Great body position, isn't it? Chest down, leads with the ball, means nobody can get underneath her.
$20 seconds to go.
Liv McGovern back representing Exeter for the first time in a couple of weeks. It was a late withdrawal against Loughborough a fortnight ago, and how they have missed the ice flowing through her veins. Tasked with adding the extras, but that just arcs around wide. There is a breeze here at Sandy Park. There always is.
Yeah, and always swirly, isn't it? Never just nice up and down. No, I think they massively have missed that lady, Liv McGovern. You know, you look at this try here, but the comms she'll be given, the way she'll manage a game, having somebody who knows the system, knows how you play in moments like that, that looks like the forwards, is generally done by your 10s, right?
Not biased in the slightest, Katie Daly-McLean. Well, it's a cannon of a restart into the acres of emerald space. That is the Sandy Park dead ball area. Nancy McGill very wise to the threat, dots that down. And everyone gets some miles in their legs.
Yeah, back to halfway we go.
Yeah.
We talk about Hope Rogers. You can just see her jogging through the top of your picture there. The woman they nicknamed Santa. She's so essential to Exeter in so many ways. There's the 8 tries, there's the effervescent personality, there's the bulldozing carrying, but at this particular set piece, we don't talk enough about her scrummaging. Exeter's scrum with Hope, 93%. Without Hope Rogers, 81.
Wowzers. And that's your bread and butter, right? That's why she gets paid the big bucks, no doubt, is the additional stuff is the, I suppose, like I say, the additional on top of, but she, as a front row, this is the thing that you want from them. You want good scrummagers, and then you want your carrying, your try scoring. But yeah, phenomenal athlete, you know, again, been around for a long time, but very, very versatile front row.
Okay, thank you.
Harlequins need a front row of their own, so in the absence of Sylvia Turani, they have to make a sacrifice, and it's the teenager Sarah Parry, the 19-year-old who's featured in every game so far for them this campaign, who will watch on for the foreseeable as Jessie Spurrier is on and in and about to get cosy with Flo Long.
Bind. Set.
It's another Flo by the name of Robinson who feeds. Back wearing the number 9 jersey and back terrorising defences. She is such a threat. Ball in hand is the diminutive scrum half. Finds McGillivray, who in turn picks out McDonald, bumping into and off Ellie Kildun, who rolls away after making the tackle on the second dig. McGovern just about floats that one back into the pocket, but it's gathered by Maddie Grant, who might be wearing 6 but has jet shoes in her heels. Buchanan will streak across the Devonian turf, but to no avail, because Maddie Grant is back row ambrosia, and you won't catch her from anywhere.
Do you know what I love about Maddie Grant? That she plays in the centre and the wing and fullback for Canada. And look, it's when you see your 6, I'm sure as a back, you're thinking, I can get her. And then she just keeps pulling away. But what a talent to have in your back row. You see here, Exeter, they just don't do a really good job, do they? The scrum advantage, they kind of pick the wrong sides. Good carry, great footwork from Claudia McDonald there to get herself on the outside of Neumann there. And you think, you know, Exeter on top. But this here, little bit again, miscommunication, falls into Grant's hand, and then what, 60 metres? Off she goes. What a great finish.
Only signed in December as injury cover after Sarah Svoboda, another extraordinarily dynamic Canadian flanker, suffered a long-term injury. What an impact she made. Her first start last week against Saracens, 23 tackles, 10 carries. Just got a glimpse there at the dynamism of the player.
100%. And what's really interesting is when you look at the back rows, you know, no Joey Conkle-Roberts there, no Alex Calendar. I was thinking, oh, you know, Quinn's back row could be an area that Exeter might go after. But actually, you see this, yes, it's a loose interception, but 60 metres as a back row and not being caught is pretty impressive.
Option.
And also, critically, the perfect way to take all the sting out of that yellow card.
Massively. What's really important when you get a yellow card is not to concede, but also you want to get some points on the board, isn't it? It just takes a bit of pressure off you there. And then error by Exeter, by McGovern, hasn't gone 10, so momentum swing was all Exeter opening 5, and now Quinn's settled in, managing the game.
Feels big, doesn't it? You can feel that the playoffs are within touching distance.
It does, and even commentating, honestly, it feels a bit tense, like there's a little bit of, ooh, prickle in the air.
Birthday girl Lucy Packer, rootling, excavating that one. Finding Cromack, and then this, the cute little trickle through. Cromack, outstandingly well positioned. There's space in the backfield, and she has drilled that to perfection. Oh, just a foot or two too much on her.
I think that's a really good decision. I'm standing up here, gesticulating widely on there. But I think, you look, the win from the flags is definitely going in Quinn's favour. So it's against Exeter, and you've got to use that possession, you know. Yes, it's gone dead, but now Exeter have to exit, Quinn's get ball back.
Packer onto Tuima, the little show. Just trying to draw the attention of a couple of Exeter bodies before she finds Fleming in field, and the Welsh woman sucks in black jerseys. This now Harriet Miller-Mills, formerly of this parish, Left Sandy Park over the summer with a master's degree and a fiancé. Pretty well down here. Fleming goes again, 10 metres out now. Harlequins looking to compound Exeter woes. But instead, it's Miller Mills who knocks it on, and Chiefs will scrum down with their heels on their own whitewash.
Yeah, it's key, isn't it, now, like we've just talked about that yellow card, but also with the wind, that you build a score. I think Exeter definitely last weekend didn't do that particularly well at all, did they? They didn't use the wind when they had it, but loose area there for Miller Mills. But it's a good opportunity for Quins' scrum to try and put a bit of pressure on Exeter.
Chiefs made more carries than any other side last weekend, but managed just one try. Desperately struggled to convert their opportunities, something Susie Appleby was bemoaning in the week. But as mentioned, a whole raft of changes made since to personnel. And they're not panicking, they have got that game in hand. And after yesterday's result, where Loughborough Lightning raided Shaftesbury Park and beat Bristol Bears, they're not under a huge amount of pressure, Exeter.
No, but I think what's interesting is the pressure that you can create internally. So like you say, game in hand, they've got opposition that they know they can go and beat. I think what's different, and especially what's good about the top four at the moment, is how competitive. And if you look at those run of fixtures, Exeter have to play Bristol. You have to play the teams that are in the mix with you, and there's not that many of the gimme games, we would say.
We're off to the rack after this, down in Bath, where an undefeated Johan van Graan side hosts Bedford in round 4 of the Premiership Rugby Cup in the company of Orla, Chris Ashton and David Flatman. And then Storm Darragh saw Chiefs round 9 trip to Bear Country postponed, but the good news is it's coming to you in glorious Technicolor right here on TNT Sports next Saturday. Black shirts collide with white ones and draw themselves an advantage to boot. So much space down on this near touchline, and McGillivray just ekes out an extra couple of inches before the door is slammed shut by Claudia Peña's tackle. She forces the knock-on, and there are heads in hands from Exeter Chiefs. What an essential intervention from the Las Leonas flyer.
This is such a great bit of defence when you're a player down. They're really tight. You can see all Quins players, but Claudia Peña there doesn't bite. She keeps checking and just allows herself great timing of a tackle. But if you're looking at how you buy yourself time when you're under pressure, numbers down, that is how to do it.
Quins were lacklustre last week, sloppy, low in energy, error-strewn, but this woman stood head and shoulders, despite being about 5'4", above all the rest of them. Her workload, her physicality through traffic, the chemistry she's building with Ellie Kildane in that back line. What an arrival she has had into this competition.
Bind. Set. Stay square. Square.
Scrum holds firm, and we're almost about to be back to 15 on 15. Sylvia Tarani and Sarah Parry watching on from the sidelines. The final attack from a Harlequin side shorn of numbers, but leading by 2 points. Fleming's burst, and now this Lizzie Hanlon. Another one to come from Sandy Park over the summer. Tuima finds Kildane. They've got a 2-on-3 here, and the ball just ricochets off the fingertips of Lisa Neumann.
Scrum on line out.
As the yellow card expires.
Line out option.
Quins will be really pleased with that, you know, yellow card, front row, and to go to score and to be ahead after that in a game that is going to be this competitive is a really, really pleasing sign, I'm sure, for Ross Chisholm and his team.
Thank you, let's crack on.
Tarani back on, barking orders. And physicality in spades. And such an infectious personality to beat. She's straight in on defensive detail, because this is crisp off the line out. Slick hands finding McDonald, but then it's knocked on again. And in some discomfort, that is McDonald,
Looks like a knee
an
injury,
athlete
David.
that Chiefs can scarce afford to lose.
Yeah, I mean, we hope that's nothing serious, you know.
Yeah.
Claudia's had such an awful run with injury and was just starting to return with some minutes. But good day against by Quins. Exeter, really nice attack, good running lines there. She gets into a bit of space, you know, on front foot. But fingers crossed that's nothing too serious.
Thanks.
They talk about a black heart here in Exeter. That is the image that they use, the ethos of this entire group. They all pull together, they beat together. And one of the most passionate of the lot is Claudia McDonald. You witnessed her rise, someone who only took up the sport at the age of 19 as a scrum half whilst at university to being one of the best players at the last World Cup. She is an exquisite player in full flight.
She is another player that I played alongside. Started up with the Dalton Mountain Park Sharks, who sadly no longer exist. But, you know, she started as a winger, full-back, went to 9 with England with Scott Beeman in that kind of era, and then has gone back out to the wing. For me, such a gifted player. You know, you talk about what makes somebody special, and the thing about Claudia, it's not just that pace, it's how strong and agile she is with it. She's explosive, but she's just got a really nice read on the game. You know, you give her ball, she can find space when there isn't space, and she's smart. You know, as wingers, you don't want them pushed into touch. Very, very rarely does that happen to that girl.
Intriguingly, since her return from that second neck injury, though, she's only won 1 from 4 for Exeter. Arrived right as that purple patch ended. And looking at the comparison between the two back threes today, Katie, Quins of Pena, Kildun and Neumann, they've scored 17 tries between them this campaign. Exeter of Buchanan, McDonald and Deutsch, just 5. What's the difference in their playing style?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty obvious one, isn't it, if we look at it? But, you know, you look at Hope Rogers on 8 tries in 6 games, very much a forward-dominated game. Exeter, you know, you get into that space, they're going to get their pack to run over you. And I think when you look at the ability of both them backside, lots of pace, lots of link and handling. But for Exeter, like you say, this purple patch, they just haven't necessarily clicked. Where we saw Buchanan running around people and scoring for fun last season, we just haven't seen it in the second part of the season.
Here's my job to ask you these obvious questions, Katie.
And give obvious answers from me.
I thought it was wonderful. I loved it.
Okay,
riveted. And riveted back on is Claudia McDonald's right knee. By the looks of it, plenty of tape gone on there, and she's grimacing. She's saying something because she's hard as nails, but there's no way in a World Cup year they'd let her play on if they had any concerns about this.
No, and if you look at her facial expressions there, it doesn't look like she's particularly comfortable, so she'll be one to watch for the next 5 minutes whether she can run this off.
Watching on for us is Steve Salwin, forwards coach of Exeter Chiefs. That'll be fascinating to get his thoughts in just a moment as they pack down in this defensive scrum, losing that sin bin period by 7 points to 5 as Kildun eyes up Cantona and McGovern before her. A little hitch step, grabs an extra couple of yards through contacts. Miller-Mills. This now Cromack picking out Grant on an incisive line. A skittling ball for Neumann to defuse. Leanie's in there with the clear out, so too is Parry. Some thrillingly excited England under-20s out on pitch today. We've got some future Red Roses going hammer and tongs at one another, and Parry is certainly one of them. Hope Rogers told to get her hands out the cookie jar, and does so in the nick of time. So Quins reload, go again. Cromack finding Grant, and Tuima with an arcing pass that elicits ooze from the crowd. One-handed gather from Parry. Scrum halves locked in a teeny tiny wrestling match there in the 5-metre channel. Robinson up against Packer, and the ball is stolen by the women in black. Dorothy Wall, who has been a sensational bit of business, makes the carry, and not rolling away as Abby Fleming. So an opportunity to clear the lines of the Exeter Chiefs, and as mentioned, Steve Salvin is alongside Ashley for us.
Thanks, Claire. Steve, it's been physical, it's been pretty brutal. We've seen 2 players on the sidelines actually being treated for injuries. What have you made of the game so far?
It's just tense, isn't it? It's obviously a really significant game in terms of what the end of the season looks like with playoffs, and it looks a little bit like that at the moment. So yeah, that's what I would make of it.
Yeah, players are clearly putting their bodies on the line. Like you say, there is a lot on the line. In terms of that sin-bin period, you didn't manage to capitalise there. Talk us through that.
No, we had a couple of opportunities, but we weren't quite clinical enough. So even the instance that led to the interception, that pass sticks, were potentially walking into the far corner. So obviously an element of frustration there, but 15 minutes in, this game has the potential to go right down to the wire. So there's still a lot of rugby to be played.
Thanks for your time, Steve.
Cheers.
Got a question for you, Katie, and I hope for my sake it's not another obvious one. But speaking to Susie Appleby in the week, she made a really interesting point about the idea of pressure, which Steve just alluded to there. And she said it's really difficult being Exeter at the moment, or any of the sides contending for those top 4 spots. As we watch Gabby Cantona assisted from the field, which means that they need a new centre.
Yeah, that's fine.
Susie Appleby's side. But there's so much pressure this year with this incredibly congested table and this race for the run-in that the likes of Loughborough Lightning and Trailfinders become the ultimate stumbling blocks, because they can just attack and attack and attack, and if they concede, that is fine, because they're out there honing their craft and bringing through talents and combinations. There's pressure on these women's shoulders, and it shows in their performances right now.
100%, you know, for Ealing and Loughborough, it's almost like shackles off, let's go ruin as many parties as we can, isn't it? And for the bottom half of the table, that's what, to an extent, it is about a little bit. It's like, how many of these big teams can we make it problematic for? And like you say, look, Exeter have got a lot of opportunity to control their own fate. But when it starts to go wrong and you're on a bit of a run of losing games, that pressure builds internally. So coach and staff can be like, look, don't worry, we've got all of this. But as players, if you're not performing, that just starts to become a weight that you're carrying.
And only exacerbating that pressure is the fact that shorn of Gabby Cantona, Alex Tessier is on. She's a World Player of the Year nominee, but even so, that's 2 of Chiefs reinforcements brought on within 15 minutes, and 2 internationals out. They don't have the rest week, remember. That rearranged round 9 fixture means that Chiefs will go again and again and again into the playoffs, should they be lucky enough to book their spot. Rogers to Tosi and Long, packing down against Tarani, Powell and Hanlon for our 6th scrum in 15 minutes.
Set.
Claudia McDonald swings round and into first receiver, so they are overloading that open side, Exeter. Nothing subtle about this. The problem is, they're awfully hard to stop, even when it's telegraphed. Just ask those tasked with tackling Rachel Johnson, or now Nancy McGillivray. One thunderous, one silky, but both get the job done, and they're over the 10-metre line. McGovern, with so many options. Tessier's first touch. Now this is Buchanan, on to Tosi. McDonald looks up and spots Cromack as her opponent this time out. Putting a lot of pressure through that injured knee, but stays in field. Wool picks out McGovern, and the ball is with Harlequins.
Scrum advantage.
Scrum advantage for Ross Chisholm's women, knowing that a win here would not only be their first ever at Sandy Park, but the one to see them through to the semi-finals for the first time since 2022. It's been a hot second. Tessier and Deutsch clearing out like forwards there. There's desire right through this Chiefs outfit. You can feel it. Playing perhaps, for those watching on now, injured from the touchline, Menin and Cantona. Rogers straightened, barreled onwards, but then had the deftness of touch to float it up and onto Wool. Long with a tricky pass onto McGovern. Tackle made by Parry. Where the ball is anyone's guess.
No, don't go in there. Your first tackle's got to roll, please.
Both coaches talked about physicality ahead of this fixture, and we are seeing it in generous lashings. Broad and uncompromising brushstrokes. Tessier with the cute little dink up and over the top. There was a mark to be called there by Packer, but instead She weaves back out and then in against the grain. Well read by Neumann, was in there at scrum half just as quickly as Packer, who is now back, resuming regular service and finding Miller Mills.
Taken back in.
Max clearance. She has an excellent boot on her. The athlete who exploded onto the scene in an under-18s jersey and has hardly skipped a beat in senior rugby.
Tackle. Yes.
Well, we're meant to be protecting scrum halves a little bit more in the game, but Flo Robinson found herself well wrapped up by Connie Powell. So astute to shoot up like that and just force Chiefs to back pedal, but they've recovered marvellously as Tessier finds Buchanan. Kildun just drifting out in defence there. And Quinn's getting bodies back to their feet with real alacrity. They're desperate to keep people up in the defensive line, which is easier said than done, up against the carriers that Chiefs possess. Rogers just runs over the top of Durrani. Deutsch finding Johnson, still going Johnson. So many playmakers out on pitch for Chiefs. Tessier and McGovern threats wherever they go, both in possession of enormous boots, but they're keeping it tight for now. Van der Velden uses every inch of her 6-foot frame to carry over the gain line there. And this is what they do when they're at their best, Exeter. They just keep hands on the ball, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Peña's tackle, but Deutsch with the half break. And now this is Buchanan. 3 minutes here of constant play. It is lung-sapping, leg-draining stuff. And now Quinn's turn it over. And Ross Chisholm behind us thumps a fist on his desk.
I bet he does, I bet. You know what it is, you look at Exeter there, like you say, they're just probing. Some big carries by Johnson in there, Wall in there, but not converting. And it's huge, isn't it? It's a huge defensive shift from Quins there, just to keep holding their space, to keep working hard together, staying connected, not giving any obvious outs for Exeter to pick them off.
Just on the edge of the line here. That's your mark. Just take a step, yep.
See here, their Wall there, it's a good carry, double tackle, but what great position and speed there, isn't it? No breath, hands on the ball, and then really difficult to move. Really good turnover.
Opportunity goes begging because the line out is spilt, and Katie Buchanan, who has no right to be as strong or as slippery a customer as she is, brings Chiefs back to the 22. Isn't it extraordinary how that was 20 phases and they couldn't make up that territory, and then one carry from a whippersnapper winger and they're into the box office. McGovern thrashing and railing against the tackles of the Londoners, and now Leach finds Wall, who just gets through a pile of work each and every time the Tipperary-born basketball converts. McDonald with an offload somehow as she hops and skips, and Hope now with a little bounce of her own. The sledgehammer that is Hope Rogers, sensing a brace. Pulled down just short, and look at the black jerseys piling to the breakdown there. They've got themselves a free hit. They can entertain if they want here, but they might opt to just keep it tight and thunderous, Chiefs. Wide they go, Neumann flies up, Deutsch back in field, diving over.
Thank you, David.
Well, they huffed and they puffed, and eventually they blow the quartered house down. Merrin Deutsch with her second try of the season, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Really important time for Exeter to score, wasn't it? You know, to go 20 phases and then with a penalty. An error from Quins there, not getting your set-piece drill right. It was a similar story against Sarries last weekend, but here, Buchanan, great. You know, what you want from pace. That lady Again, lovely offload, something that Exeter aren't known for, and there she goes, Hope Rogers rumbling away, not stopped. She gets a metre short, and you think Lisa Newman nearly took that. If she takes that, we come back to the penalty, but good feet, good finish by Merrin Dodge.
Well, the breeze is only growing stiffer here at Sandy Park. This is tricky for McGovern. But she's judged it very well, has the fly half, who was such a welcome sight in these parts when she returned from Matatu playing in Super Rugby Aupiki. They missed her last season. And if they're to finally, Exeter Chiefs, find themselves the brides and not the bridesmaids in the PWR, you have a suspicion that Liv McGovern will be right in the thick of things.
Yeah, definitely very good under pressure. You know, the difference from turning that game into a loss to a draw when they played Quins in October, wasn't it? Like, really good penalty, very good with pressure.
Never onside, number 13.
We celebrate Chiefs' defence. It is so vaunted, and no side has conceded fewer tries than Susie Appleby's women this season. But the fact remains, they're 7th for tries scored, so they really do struggle to convert. Is there a consistent theme across that?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? When you look at, you compare these two teams, you've got a Quinn side that are top 2 for all attack and stats, so your clean breaks, meters made, and then you've got an Exeter side who basically are winning games through their defence because they're not scoring as many, like you say. So definitely hasn't been the Exeter that we've known previously, where they're converting and taking as much of the chances that they're making.
Smart from McGovern there. The facials suggest that she was hoping for a little bit more on that, but even so, it's ball back in the court of Harlequins. And it's a line out that has been faltering of late, all the way down to 62% against Saracens last week. And across the other side of the Sandy Park pitch, we saw a relatively simple drill come on stock last time out. Mueller on to Grant. I've not said Maya Mueller's name yet today, but she also, someone who, even against the tide, was impressive against Saracens last week. Steepling bounce.
Not clear forward for me.
There, off the fingertips in the midfield. And the frustration on Alex Tessier's face there told a real story.
It did, didn't it? She was furious. I think, to be honest, probably lucky that that wasn't judged forward on the initial drop. Probably not a great kick from Ella McCormack. I think she would have been expecting a bit more distance on that. But as soon as you let that ball bounce, then it becomes a lottery. See their ball bounces there. Yeah, she gets up, doesn't she, Tessier there? Makes a nuisance of herself. Oh. Yeah, I think she slammed her hands on the ground there because she thinks the jackal has gone ball onto the floor rather than straight into the ball.
Bit of interpretive dance from Alex Tessier.
Take a step, please.
Mad though, she doesn't strike me as a character that gets furious.
An exceptionally cool customer. Nothing cool about that though. Abby Fleming looking rattled, and the chicken wing offload finds nothing but turf. It's Hanlon who picks and opts to go herself. Just buy Quins a bit of time to reset attacking wise. Tarani, whose legs should be fresh after that 10-minute spell on the sidelines. And now through the hands they go. No side likes a strike move quite as much as Harlequins, but this time they're foiled. McGillivray, wise to just drift with the passage of play there. Big shots coming in from Exeter, but illegally so. Back they're marched.
Push.
Got the poke. I thought she would have gone to the post there. You know, with that win behind you, puts you like within one score, and especially because the line-out hasn't been functioning as clinically as they would have hoped.
Well, this presents us in an intense fixture with a very interesting head-to-head, because no side scores more maul tries than Harlequins, but no side is better at defending mauls than Chiefs. What's that they say about immovable objects and unstoppable forces? Powell's throw, kept exceptionally simple. They don't even lift Caitlin Leaney. The Wallaroo remains on the deck, but now they start to march. Powell has it. And Powell is hauled down. Chiefs have disrupted that masterfully.
1-0 Chiefs.
And it's Adele McMahon, the Irish skipper, the woman they call Tricky, who has proven exactly that.
Very good. That was very well done, that. But look, this is really interesting about game management, right, for me. In that moments like that, when you know you've got the wind and you're going to be going into the wind, and we've seen how difficult it is for Exeter to exit, why are you not just building your score there? You know, you're 5 points, you hit another 3, you get the ball back, you send them back down there. And when you lose some of your experience, like captain like Jay Conkle-Roberts, is that a different conversation if she is on that pitch at that moment in time?
Quins frustrated with an almighty counter shove there, but rising from the base and carrying half of Southwest London with her is Rachel Johnson. Tessier with a peach of a ball out to Katie Buchanan, who lives for moments like these. The sidestep practically saw her do the splits out on Sandy Park there, and it had half of Harlequins fooled. Wall making inroads now. Saracens pulled Quins coast to coast so devilishly last weekend. We got a glimpse of that there from Exeter, stretching the white and green wall before them. Kildun with no room to manoeuvre there. Johnson and Long making that tackle. Cromack, oh, that's delightful. Manages to free the hand and finds a galloping Caitlin Leaney.
Advantage.
Had a proper canter, and somehow Quins don't just have the ball but the advantage to flex. Fleming finding Mueller, she's got Neumann on her shoulder. That shot looks high from Rogers. They will definitely be giving this a look.
High tackle, yellow card.
Straight yellow.
Well, the two loose heads have now each been shown a yellow card in this fixture, and on the 30-minute mark, Hope Rogers will be a bystander, and that only. And what a field position this is for Harlequins.
It is, it's a good little play. It looks like she was run out of options there, and that's a lovely little offload, isn't it? Leaney was on her own there, though, only black shirts around her, and I thought turnover for sure, but manages the ball a little bit here. We just watched this. Ooh, looks nasty on the replay. I'm really surprised he didn't refer up to TMO there, but obviously referee comfortable, he's had clear sight. It's definitely worse watching it from that angle as well, so maybe Hope will be happy with the yellow card there.
What is really impressive here, Katie, and as a World Cup winning fly half, I'd love your thoughts on this, but Ella Cromack, fly half today for Harlequins. This is her first time starting since round 3 up against Leicester Tigers, and she's played 25 minutes since. She has had to be so patient behind Kayleigh Powell for an opportunity like this, and for a 19-year-old in this cauldron, she's looking comfortable.
Definitely, you know, she really is. I think what helps is what she's got around her. So, you know, Lucy Packer at 9, having Langi Tuoma at 12, that kind of experience to support you. But look, she doesn't look out of place. She's got Sarah Parry in the midfield as well, being 19 years old. So what you would have previously classed as youth, these kids are basically showing, like, this isn't a problem for us. Like, give me an opportunity and I'll shine, which is great to see, isn't it?
Ready?
Well, you've got Lizzie Duffy up at Sale Sharks. He's one of the most prodigious playmakers we've seen in a wee while, so they're not short on talent, the Red Roses.
They're not, and it's great, isn't it? You know, sitting here with your English hat on, it is fantastic for the growth of our game to know you've got young, up-and-coming fly halves that are getting great experience, great exposure, and showing what they're made of.
Amelia McDougall too for Saracens. Mitchell's cup overfloweth.
More.
Well, from one touchline to the other, it is cookie-cutter stuff. Powell finds Leaney, but this time Chiefs, shorn of Rogers, are starting to just creak backwards. Pack has not yet been told to use it, but she decides to get a wriggle on anyway. Tuima in at first receiver. Kildun over the top. Neumann has it on a plate, and the easiest glide in she will have all season. And Harlequins lacerate the league's best defence with clean hands to draw things level.
Yeah, you know, again, it was good maul defence, wasn't it, from for Exeter to start off with, again, being down a player of Hope's quality, but it's a lovely weighted pass from Ellie Kildun, isn't it? You know, it is out in front. I'm sure Lisa Neumann is watching that carefully because she dropped one earlier, but, you know, great weight, ball in front, they've done the job, they've fixed the players, and like you say, it's a really easy run-in for somebody of her quality.
And if we take the try scorer out of the equation, Lisa Neumann, Harlequins' backline today is an average age of 22. They are growing tyros in TW2, although that effort from Ella Cromack drifts agonisingly wide.
Good strike though, wasn't it? And again, all these experiences are just going to set her up to be even better. You know, 19-year-olds having all these moments is kind of things you can't buy, and something that I'm sure Ross Chisholm has worked with her to make sure she knows what she's doing, she knows how she's going to manage this game.
Harlequins 7, Exeter Chiefs 8 when they met in the opening round, and Cromack did miss a penalty on that occasion. I wonder if there might be any scar tissue left from that. We hope not, but that, a real stinger for Langi Tuima.
I think she's unlucky as well there. I think there's still some feet in the 22.
Some feet? How many has she got?
3, 2.
There have been occasions, there have been rosy days when Langi Tuima has looked like she's got more arms than is fair.
Yeah.
So we can allow her a couple of extra feet. So Trixie, a playmaker, is the Quins 12, who is scanning the backfield now because Leach, as she so often is the line-out option here for Chiefs, and now it's their turn to show us what they're about at maul time. Across the face from Robinson, Tessier with the short pass, and Johnson pulls Neumann and Tuima up to 10 metres out, and now they've got plenty of bodies, Exeter. Bounce just over the fingertips of Buchanan, and surely that should have stayed in their hands.
Yeah, I think when you watch it from up here, I can totally understand why she's made that decision. You know, she's got a lot of space in that corner. But for me, they're the ones you've got to push, because the dead ball line is so big. Push it into that dead ball here rather than trying to pick the big kick. You know, Rachel Johnson has been immense. It's taken her 2-3 players to haul her down. There was post-contact meters. So, yeah, I can understand why she's got in that space. But you want that bouncing on the 5. Let her roll into the dead ball, and then you give your players a foot race.
Grant's latest adventure is stopped brutally short by Johnson. Some of the back rowers we are able to enjoy today at the peak of their powers. 23 full internationals across the 2 starting 15s today. This is the best competition in the women's game. And with the wind at their back, Quins have played that well.
Yeah, I think for me, this is where you just want them to smash it long. She needs to find a bounce and let her roll. But what I would say is Exeter's backfield have done a really good job of sitting deeper, so they're not allowing Quins' kickers to feel like they can clear them. And I think sometimes when you see that, it puts you in 2 minds. Actually, you just need to find some space and let the wind help you out there.
Hope Rogers, Merrin Doidge scoring for the hosts. Maddie Grant and Lisa Neumann for the visitors, who are a win away from the semi-finals.
Once.
Flo Robinson up against her former club. And now McGovern.
Obstruction.
Cross lines of communication in the midfield.
Number 8 in front. Affects the defender.
Probably fair as well, isn't it? It did have a bit of an effect on one of the Quins players trying to make that tackle.
Yes, it was Ed, George.
Thanks.
Well, that's 2 kicks that Langi Tuima would love another go at. One out on the full, and one there failing to find touch. That was a real Achilles heel against Saracens in last weekend's London derby. You've got to bury those. Wool manages to shrug off the first tackle, disdainfully dumped down the second would-be defender. And it's Totosi with all the guile to just sneak through a half gap there. Robinson picking out Van der Velden, who a few years ago was Exeter's captain when they first launched so explosively in this competition. They're heavy hitters now, the weight of expectation on Exeter. Something we have become very much accustomed to. Long, who will be going the distance today, on 17 seconds in for Dalika Menon. Del McMahon. Back from a long-term hamstring injury, looking back to her best. Packer finds Kildun, who sets off in hot pursuit with that languid, easy gait of hers. Manages to get the charge down. Quick thinking, oh, and just denied by the paint on the pitch. But in terms of hustle, you cannot fault the effort.
You really can't. That is, oh, it's one of those moments, isn't it? Like game-changing moments there.
Time off.
Fair play, Ellie Kildun, you know, good kick. She's found a bit of space. She probably would have liked that in the 15, rolling kind of out 50-22. You know, good chase, puts Liv McGovern under a lot of pressure here. And then it's speed, isn't it? Oh, it's that left foot. Because it's a really good decision, you know. She knows, she's aware that she's going into touch. Drops it back on her boot. But just there. Oh, would have been a great try as well, because it sits up lovely for her right at the end.
Even by Kildun standards, that would have been pretty good. So just a reminder, next weekend is in theory a break weekend for the PWR, but we do have a pair of rearranged fixtures. Sale Sharks will host Trailfinders and Bristol Bears will be hosting Exeter Chiefs. That one, to all intents and purposes, becomes a straight shootout for the final spot in the playoffs. Dave Ward's sides have got their backs firmly against the wall, but how many times have we said that and then eaten our words?
Yeah, I think for both sides, isn't it? Exeter and Bristol, not the run-in they would have hoped, but depending on the result today, could be absolutely huge for either side next weekend.
Inside the 5.
Not that they will be worrying about that, not for a second, because right now there are 90 seconds until they head to the sheds to reflect on what has been a tense and intense first 40. McGillivray ghosting through and eventually snagged by Neumann. Chief Centurion and skipper Poppy Leach. Next to see if there might be little holes in this Quins defence. Cromack has the ball. McDonald has Cromack. But the offload, courtesy of a swinging arm, is out, and it's Hanlon. A ground she knows so well. Same could be said of Miller Mills.
Line out.
That from Tuima. Really tricky for Neumann.
Yeah, I think when you're playing in that much space, aren't you, in the 5-metre channel, you probably just need somebody not on the edge just to carry, reset, and you start again. And I think last 20 minutes, Quins have just lost a little bit of their way, haven't they? They look a little bit out of sorts, a little bit out of shape, and things that have come off previously just aren't.
Number 7's going off, please.
You know, Lizzie Pack on a wrap, they're overrunning their lines. Just a bit tight to be playing that play.
That's okay, no worries. Time's off, take your time.
No
okay,
hope, Rogers. So it's Harlequins' turn to need a loose head, and no one can decide out there who is going to head off. The answer is Katie Buchanan, and in the words of George Salwood, we got there. So Buchanan is off, and it is good afternoon to Demi Swan.
Time on.
30 seconds to play, and you suspect, given the injuries they have sustained, given that they will have the wind at their backs in the second half, Chiefs will be slightly happier.
100%. I think wins like these are, this wind, it could be a 10-15 point easily if you can use it right and you can use the territory. So I think, if I'm honest, Exeter will be the happier side to go in 12-all with the wind at your back and have an opportunity to go and win it in the second half.
One final crack, and McDonald finds Tessier, who had quite the room there, to accelerate onto the ball, finding McDonald again. The 1-2 is sumptuous. That felt statement. Remember Chiefs? Remember them?
I mean, the other option is you can just try and win it just before the second half as well, isn't it? I mean, that also goes. Yeah, look, I think now Exeter definitely really happy going in there. It's a really solid platform. And to be honest, the simplest play they've put together. Claudia to Tessier, great lines, gets in between two defenders, puts them in two minds, and then it's good skills, commit your player, and when you've got pace like Claudia, you're going to be running that in. But for me, this is what Exeter need to do more. This is when they were going well, what they did well. Simple things, basics, good players making good decisions at pace, and they become really difficult to defend.
Let me know when there's 15 seconds.
She's playing on one knee.
She didn't look like it then, though.
McGovern to add the extra 2 as the World Player of the Year prepares to attempt her second charge down in as many minutes. And just in case we hadn't had enough drama, a little bit of contention over the conversion. McGovern is laughing. Kildun doesn't look too happy about that one. And I'll tell you what, the tension is up to the rafters here at Sandy Park. It is tight as you like, but it's Chiefs who are 7 points ahead and a try away from the bonus point in their own backyard, looking to bounce back after a really tough couple of weeks. All 3 away sides won yesterday in round 16 of the PWR. The champions, Loughborough Lightning and Saracens. But it is Quins who trail at Sandy Park as they wait for Exeter Chiefs with the wind in their faces. Susie Appleby side on their worst ever home run. They have lost as many here in the past 6 weeks as in the previous 3.5 years combined. But they are embodying their coach's message for the week to just shake the pressure off and go. And here they come. And as they emerge into the swirling breeze and the sound waves of that trademark Chiefs drum, you look at the personnel gathered here in Devon, the Hope Rogers, the Rachel Johnsons, the Alex Tessiers, and you realise the scale of the task at hand for Harlequins if they are to secure their spot in the semi-finals for the first time since 2022. And don't forget, it is a bench groaning with pedigree as well. We haven't seen Clara Nilsson, Maddie Fayanati, Emily Robinson all straining at the leash, champing at the bit. Pick your analogy. They're sharpening their claws beneath our commentary gantry now, and they cannot wait to rip into these Londoners, these cocksure Londoners who quite fancy themselves booked home and hosed in the playoffs. Two yellow cards in that first 40. One just seconds in for Sylvia Tarani, and one for Hope Rogers, who is back with us now. So it's 15 plays 15. And we're going to have, by the looks of it, another scrum. The front rows have been industrious. But in fact, so impressive is Rachel Johnson, better known as Ray J in these parts. But the advantage is over. And we will continue through Tessier, whose playmaking has been pulling apart the fibres of Quinn's defence. Managing an extra roll, which was either illegal or devious, depending on your affiliation. Katie Buchanan gets that one backwards. And Robinson finds Tessier in at first receiver, so it's out wide that McGovern is lurking, and now McGillivray sizes up her opponent and decides to clatter into Neumann. Adele McMahon, with real determination, thrust that one back.
Tackle.
Maddie Grant tackles Flo Long. And Chiefs come again. Buchanan's kick bounces off a shin by the looks of things, and it's gathered by Robinson. Buchanan will need to play scrum half. Wall with just a little bit of footwork. She assessed her options, and for the second time today, Connie Powell is swiftest to pounce upon an unprotected ball. Somehow, though, wrestled back by Chiefs, who have a real determination about them today. Stunned by Gloucester Hartpury in their 9th outing of the season. Losses to Loughborough and then to Sale Sharks last weekend. You'd excuse them for being low on confidence, but they have looked anything but so far. That, though, haphazard. And it's McDonald who is forced to gather and somehow still going. Kildunn makes the tackle. And Quinn's reset masterfully into their defensive patterns. Thing is, someone's got to stop Hope Rogers. Eventually, it's Maya Mueller, but they're into the 22. Exeter, who had 60% of the possession and the territory in the first half. But there, the turnover, and it's Sylvia Tarani with her 10th of the season. No prop has more in the Premiership.
Number 8, not 10.
It's the first foot that Rachel Johnson has put wrong all day.
I think, for me, though, that is the best we've seen Exeter play in a long time, you know. They went through their phases. They just look more Exeter-like, comfortable coming out their back, their forwards attacking the line, fixing defenders, which I think, like you say, low on confidence. They've lost the last 3 and 4 games that they've played, but Exeter definitely look more like the team we are used to seeing. A couple of loose errors here, you know, but they are getting the look of the bounce. Buchanan's kick ends up back in Flo Robinson's hand. Claudia McDonald makes good meters here. So I think maybe the fortunes of Exeter are starting to change a little bit. And that lady on your screen has been phenomenal, hasn't she? Hope Rogers, to carry her strength and how many players it's taken to bring her down.
Could Exeter win a Premiership without Hope Rogers? Is she the most important player in this team?
I think Hope Rogers has got to be up there. You know, you talk about her try-scoring prowess, but also her scrummage and the other things she brings. The kind of mentality, if you're her teammate, where you see her carry and go, that what that does for you. But also I think Rachel Johnson would be up in that mix. She is talismanic as well, very physical, jumps on the back of Hope's carries as well.
More.
The tries have pretty much all been from the Flyers so far today. Rogers opening, flurry the exception to that. There's been some meaty mauling to enjoy as well. It's Connie Powell who's off the back of that maul and rising to put a dent in the black defensive line before her. Cromack absolutely belted that towards Tuima. Kildun finding Pena. That chemistry growing by the round between those two. And look at Kildun thrash her way upfield there. She doesn't just scythe, she can mash as well. Crisp distribution. Cromack on to Mueller. This now to Rani. And Connie Powell wondered there if a chip and chase might be her best option. She's an audacious athlete, the hooker. But all that one has done is gift the scrum to Exeter Chiefs as Harlequins will make their first tactical change of the day. Sarah Bonner watching on.
Number 8, Quins, please. Number 13, Quins, please. 13.
And here she comes, wearing 19. Also joining us is Beth Wilcock.
OK, let's start to build then.
So she is on in the place of Sarah Parry, which you suspect means that Claudia Pena will scooch to outside centre, where she's played a lot of her rugby recently. Wilcock will occupy the wing, as she did in the final when Harlequins were crowned Premiership champions back in 2021. Bonner goes into the back row for now, but you wonder if she might find herself in the engine room at some point. He shuffled the deck early, as Ross Chisholm.
No, it's come out of the tunnel, then turned around on the spot. We'll do it again. Bring it this way. Crouch.
And a special occasion too, we should add, for Beth Wilcock, who was a sevens tyro as a teenager, returns to the 15s game and has run out at the stoop on so many occasions for Quins. She is a big game player. Quite the ingredient to add into the mix off the bench, with 35 minutes still to play in this one. Leach with the little hitch and the stutter. And then a Swede and a Scot in her way, in Bonner and Mueller. Linda van der Velden.
Let go.
And the former Munster captain in Dorothy Wall. Robinson sends that one skyward, and it's a lovely bit of mazy footwork there.
Really good turnover there, wasn't it, from Emily Tosi. You know, the kick I thought was a bit late, probably could have gone a couple of phases earlier, but actually it's the chase that makes it. Really, really good chase. Great pressure from, I think it was Claudia McDonald, and then supported by Tosi there. And it just changes momentum, doesn't it? Quins had played through phases, had a bit of possession, but actually Exeter get an opportunity, turn the switch, bang, we're on top of it, and now a penalty to kick into the R22. Yeah, see here, just really good body position. She's a little bit isolated there, and once Tosi is over there, there is especially not going to be moved by a fly half, a young fly half as well.
Well, they're without Cleena Maloney today, Exeter Chiefs, out with a calf strain at the moment, but it is testament to this programme, to the depth that they are building, that they've got Emily Tosi and another international, Clara Nielsen. The depth is fathomless.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? Especially when you're a team like Exeter that utilise your set piece. Your hooker is so important, obviously from line-out and scrum. But having hookers of that quality, just to be able to kind of roll on, one's getting tired. Oh, here we go. There's another one.
Well, with the wind at her back,
Right, take a step, please.
Tessier might have hoped for a little more distance on that, because they are 21 full metres from what would be a bonus point try here, Exeter.
Oh.
But it's cleanly to Wall. And this their 9th visit to the 22. 3 tries, not a bad return so far. Tessier with the no-look pull back and on to McDonald, whose score in the dying moments of the first 40 opened up the lead that they're flexing now to Tosi, whose turnover got Chiefs up this end of the pitch. Rogers, just look at her go, so percussive. She is a cymbal clap in a rugby jersey. Robinson on to Johnson. You can say the same thing about Johnson. McGovern's kick means that we will come back for the advantage, because there was nothing much on there.
And I think for me, that moment there is where Liv McGovern just needs to keep developing the game. You know, we saw one early in the other half. Almost like just because she feels like she's out of options, her answer is to kick ball away. But actually, they're the ones where you just go through your phases. I think it's a good decision. Shot a goal, build your score like we talked about. This will take them 2 scores ahead, and then it's for St Quin's to play. But, you know, here, that lady Hope Rogers been phenomenal. Always breaking that first tackle, and it's tough there, isn't it? Because that penalty's for not rolling away. I'm not sure how you roll away when somebody's pinned your legs and you're upside down.
"30 minutes remain, and as ever, it is a deliberate placement from McGovern. She is so unhurried in this routine.
Thanks.
And the coolest cucumber in all of the West Country slots another 3. 22 plays 12. And how about the enforcers, Katie, fizzing their way onto the pitch?
You talk about a swap, you know, Dorothy Wall's gone so well. Just replaced her with Maddie Fayanarty, another phenomenal big ball carrier. Emily, you've also got
Emily
Robinson coming on as well. Sorry there, I thought it was Flo Robinson, confused.
A lot of Robinsons.
A lot of Robinson.
And confusingly, a lot of Fayanartys as well. There's a sister too, Zara.
Oh my goodness. It's no hope for me, is there? But again, great back row, great ball carrier is just going to add to this extra side.
I say that, you've got twins. You should be used to this sort of chaos.
Boy and girl, though, so it's a bit easier.
Ah, yes. We've heard the word momentum a few times today from coaches. To Tosi up one end, Lizzie Hanlon up against her former side down this one.
Lizzie Hanlon is another one who probably goes a little bit under the radar. Been very, very good for Quins this season, you know. Good front row, young, just gets the job done. No flair about it, but very direct. And that's what you need. Teams that go and win 10 on the bounce don't do, because everybody's got flair. They need that engine room and those that are going to work hard.
As that man there has said before, you've got to do the grunt work, the nuts and bolts, before you earn the right to entertain. Lizzie Hanlon's got more nuts and bolts than a carpenter.
She should be delighted with our comparison there.
But fresh legs and mischief makers, and Emily Robinson, Poppy Leach and Curve conspired to strip that one back.
When you talk about momentum, those are huge, aren't they? Quins aren't going to get loads of entries to come and win this game now. So when they get them, they've got to try and take something. And, you know, it's a big win for Exeter to be able to defend that.
And there they are on each flank, a Fayanarty and a Robinson, 2 red roses.
Set.
Individuals who play with barely concealed fury, ball in hand, if they can just get this away, which they do. But undeployed for now, because Johnson finds McGillivray and queuing up for it. It's a salvo of Chiefs. Look at Maddie Fayanarty rumble. Again, the no-look deep pass from Tessier. Desperation there from a roly-polying Katie Buchanan as Kildon slaloms back up the 15-metre channel. Packer finds Powell. And Emily Robinson thought she might have a little nibble there, but instead bounced straight back up to her feet. That is their tactic today. Chiefs, the fend off from Leaney on Buchanan. Bully stuff out on Sandy Park. And Flo Robinson's physicality there to make the shot on Sylvia Tarani to stop the loose head in her tracks. Switching the point of attack is Packer, and off cleaves Ellie Kildon.
Move away now. Move away. Move away now.
A little bit of chit-chat there between McDonald and Kildon, but actions speak louder than words. And that'll be 7 points for Harlequins.
It has got really tasty, hasn't it? This is the first time that Quins have got a bit of quick ball, haven't they? Got a bit of momentum, and you know, sometimes when you need a bit of magic, it's only one lady to look by, and she's given a little wave there. I think that's why Claudia McDonald was a bit upset about that. I think, you know, we saw her, Liv McGovern, have a little bit of back and fro when they went in the tunnel, and they're just giving her a little wave, so you can see what this means.
Well, it's not a popularity contest.
Good job.
It's the Premiership.
It is, and it's a great line, you know, fullbacks coming into that guard position. Hadn't seen her really, really late, and look at it. We want character, right?
Yeah.
Just keep an eye on them one-to-ones out in those wide channels.
Well, put it this way, Claudia, that's one less Christmas card you need to write in 2025.
And one less you're going to receive.
They'll be in Red Roses camp together, all being well, in a couple of weeks. And McDonald channeling all of that frustration in a trampoline off the Sandy Park pitch. Ball, though,
retreat if you're in front,
is
please.
safely hoovered up by Harlequins. And that's a really mature drill off the boot of Cromack.
That is a great kick, such a great kick from a young athlete in that position to find that space.
Tessier, who has been fizzing things left and right with such width today. Feyanati picks and goes, and there haven't been that many threats around the ruck from Chiefs today. It's mostly been picking out those one-up runners. So there's a new dimension being brought into the thick of things by Maddie Feyanati.
What's also into it is speed of ball. So for Quins is trying that, what we've just seen, ball speed was much quicker. Same for Exeter, they almost were getting there, balls moving quickly, and it's just presenting these half opportunities for teams to take.
Thank you.
Well, the tension is rising in this one. The needle and the spice and all the little bits of extras, but equally the quality in both attack and defence. The ambition of both sides. 3 tries apiece. The next score is a bonus point.
Use it.
We know how much each and every one of those will count as we edge ever closer to the business end of the season.
Both teams are just vying for that momentum on. They were stuck on the halfway line, but it's like Quins going hard with D. Exeter's attack now really starting to challenge that.
Always inside.
Flo Robinson picks out her teammate just last year in Kildon. McGovern's tackle. Oh, and little bit of afters taking place there as well. There is no love lost between those two. Tessier is going to have to be on the money here. Oh, no, she isn't, because there was too much on it. And the pendulum, which is oscillating erratically in Sandy Park, swings again.
It really does. Here we go, Ellie Kildon. I swear she was running to Liv McGovern there, you know. Picks her out so she can get a contact, and then we get a little bit of afters there. Bit of football, she pushes, she falls over. But yeah, Ella McCormack, they're really unlucky, you know. It's a good kick, it's the right idea. She's got to get them out of their 22, but in that instance just went out on the full.
Both at fault.
Yeah.
to Tosi, to Van der Velden, two of Chiefs' most loyal and inexhaustible operators. Buchanan, that's read so well by Lisa Neumann, and what a tackle from the Welshwoman. Forces the knock-on, and Tirani ducks a pair of granite-hewn shoulders and carries up the short side.
Use it. Lost now, Exeter.
Packer rattled there, but eventually manages to pick out Hanlon. Back into the pocket, and they'll use Cromac's boot again, but she's hit that with the side of her foot. Equally, it's done all right because it's forced a little bit of indecision from Chiefs' backfield. Eventually, it's McGovern who carries into heavy traffic. Emily Robinson, on to Hope Rogers, out to McDonald, who wonders if pace will do this one or it will be a case of strength. In the end, she uses both. Upended, and back it comes. Offside, stray, Harlequins. And there's so much time left in this one. 20 minutes remain, and yet you feel like every involvement could be the flap of a butterfly wing that changes it all. Flo Robinson, Tessier, shaped for the kick with her eyes, but in the end picked out McGillivray, who finds Buchanan, who beats Kildun and beats Wilcock. Still going, Katie Buchanan. She's held up and she is trying desperately to pop that backwards. Maul is formed and back for the advantage. We will all head.
You were so right though, Claire. The momentum and the tempo and the feel around this game was that we need to win it now. Not that, like you say, you've got 20 minutes on the clock, time for plenty of scores. Both sides now feel like they've kind of got rid of structure, got rid of pattern, where somebody's just going to go win it.
There is an urgency in the air here in Devon.
Number 2 and 3 Harlequins, please.
This isn't knockout rugby. We feel as though we're teetering on some sort of decisive precipice. And Ross Chisholm and Steve Halsey, his forwards coach, think that now is the time to introduce Laura Delgado, sporting a fabulous new haircut. And also Karis Phillips.
Let's go. More.
Emily Robinson claims that one. And somehow the newly introduced Spanish tight head has managed to burgle Exeter, but now they come on the turnover, on the counter. In a game which is being played at fever pitch levels of emotion and ferocity. Leach whips that one out onto McGovern. She delays it, knowing that the reinforcements were coming around her shoulder in the form of Claudia McDonald.
Sorry.
Who is getting her hands on the ball more and more frequently now and has such a point to prove against this Harlequins outfit. They have got under her skin, but you wouldn't put it past her to have the final say. Van der Velden's carry.
Use it.
Flo Robinson onto McGillivray. Bonner and Phillips, a Celtic sandwich on the England under-20. Some of the shots out there. And staying down.
Turn off, please, so we'll just make sure this player's okay.
Out on the pitch is Sylvia Tirani, who's receiving some support there from Poppy Leach. While we pause, we will head to the coaches' box because Ross Chisholm of Harlequins is alongside Ashley Wilmot.
Thanks, Claire. Well, I think we can all just about take a breath. This game is definitely delivering, Ross. What have you made of what you've seen in the second half?
Yeah, look, I think like the game is now going to be like won and lost in around the collision. In particular, both sides are fighting really hard. So actually, whoever gets the momentum at the breakdown, I think from an attacking point of view, and then defensively, who can slow the other team's ball down the best will get the edge, I think, in the end. So yeah, I mean, it's been a hell of a second half, very pulsating. So it's about sort of staying calm as well.
Yeah, it feels physical, like you say. It feels full of emotion. These players know what's on the line. So what are you going to be looking for, you know, in the next 20 odd minutes or so?
I think it's just real clarity around what we're trying to do and how we're trying to exit. And actually, we probably in the first half spoke about at half time, we just made too many errors, too many unforced errors, which gave Exeter opportunity and field position. So that'll be the message from us, is that actually just really clear on the plan and just execute. And once you keep hold of the ball, you give yourself a chance. And we're a little bit impatient in the first half and probably guilty in the first 5 minutes, second half. But actually, when we kept hold of the ball with LEK's try, you build pressure and you build phases and you test the defence.
I like that. Ellie Kildun, she had a great line, like you say, scored that magnificent try. Is that a score celebration that you've seen before?
No, I actually missed it. So
she gave them a little bit of a wave, and I feel like that might have rattled them somewhat.
Oh, who knows? Who knows?
All in good jest. Back to you, Claire.
There's more rugby coming right after us. We are heading down to the Rec as Bath host Bedford in the Premiership Rugby Cup. Ewan Richards, Orlando Bailey, Rory McConaughey, Will Butt, plenty of recognisable names involved, but also some awesome young talents and some of the Championship's finest on display. And whilst half of the PWR sharpen tools ahead of the final 2 days of the regular season, Chiefs have their rearranged trip to Ashton Gate to enjoy. Bears have been on, well, how should we describe it? A qualification white-knuckle ride for what feels like months now. But this one is the real clincher, as fifth hosts fourth will be on air from midday.
You?
Yeah, that half-time...
Sure. Thanks.
Oh.
Sylvia Tarani back on her feet, and much as Claudia McDonald received a little bit earlier on, she's getting some magic tape around that knee. With a huge World Cup on the horizon for Italian rugby next August, September, October, they will desperately want Sylvia Tarani in their ranks. She is one of the fulcrums of that Azzurri outfit.
Massively, you know, not just for her rugby ability, but her experience, you know. She's been through all the trials and tribulations with Italian rugby and is very much a stalwart of that group.
As Susie Appleby said earlier on in the season, if you want to be at your best for the World Cup, where do you go? The PWR. And you can speak with your sail hat on about how some of the other Italians have been sharpening their tools in this competition to great effect.
Look, it's great for both things, isn't it? It's great to have the high quality and the interest from around the globe in this league because you're doing something right. But on the flip of that, having a home World Cup, having the opportunity to put these showcase the great talents of America, Italy, Spain, where you don't get that exposure, is absolutely great. And I think for me, it's what we must need to celebrate more of the PWR.
Tight head to ground.
And speaking of the international quality of this league, look there, you've got a Dutch woman, Canadians, you've got Red Roses, American Eagles, and an aspiring Black Fern in Liv McGovern, who will head for the sticks. It is and a Spaniard there too. Look, and an Italian in the background. I'm just naming countries at this stage, but it is a truly globe-trotting competition. And all roads lead to March 16th for the PWR final, then the Women's Six Nations, and then the big one in the autumn. Right call?
100%. I think, you know, it's not going to do a lot in terms of the score, you know, but it still put Quins within one score, but it means that they'd have to score and kick a conversion. So it just changes mindset for Exeter. Look, push them out wide, challenge that, and then for Quins, it's just momentum, isn't it, and just piling on pressure.
15 seconds.
Liv McGovern pops another 3 on Chiefs tally. They can worry about the try bonus point later. The result is what matters today. Demi Swan is back on for the second time this afternoon. She had a brief cameo during Hope Rogers' yellow cards. So Flo Long is off, and Hope Rogers will be switching sides to the tight head just in case she hadn't shown us enough skill already today.
It's like, what can't she do?
Well, if Exeter go on to win, and she is lucky enough to receive the Player of the Match award, that's a challenge for Ashley to find out what Hope Rogers can't do. The first post-match question. Kildun finding Wilcock, and it's past the outstretched arm of Bonner, and there's a penalty advantage for Harlequins to work with here because there was a knock-on as that little offload was given and deemed to be deliberate. Fleming wondered if she might be able to barrel through there, but Chiefs closed their ranks as on debut.
Deliberate knock-on.
Issa Preens wearing 23 for Harlequins, backpedaling there. Looks to find an outside shoulder. "15 minutes remain, 25 plays 19. Chiefs ball hogging to great effect.
When you look at them possession stats, possession and territory of 60%, but with a scoreline of only 6 points, just shows the impact of wind on both sides, but also how much better Exeter have been today.
Inside the 5, come in.
Phillips to Bonner and back again. Lucy Packer's got options down the short side if that's the way she wants to head. Maddie Grant, Beth Wilcock both queuing up there, but instead it's Phillips who trundles onwards. 15 metres between Harlequins and a bonus point try, and Sylvia Tarani, who's been patched up, is bundling Chiefs backwards. Fleming, who's had such a busy outing, and now Grant. She scored one from 85. What can she do from 5 metres out? Packer finds Fleming again, who exposes her ribcage and then cranks herself downwards and onwards. Phillips, tackled by Buchanan, who has found herself right in the midst of things, in a maelstrom of Quinn's forwards. Preens now, the Dutch debutant, wearing 23 but a flanker, 6-2 bench split. Ross Chisholm wanted muscle power off the bench, and this is the time they earn their coin. This is what it's all about, as Bonner looks for weaknesses in the PWR's most impenetrable defensive wall. Packer wondered if she might have just eked her way through. What a story this would be if Preens, in her first appearance for Quins, managed something special, but it's Feyenoorti with the bouquet. Nominated for World Rugby's Breakthrough Player of the Year. And we are not tiring anytime soon of what Maddie Feyenoorti is all about.
Wowzers. Big momentum swing again, isn't it, in this game? Quinn's going through all phases, looking really quality, and then, like we've said, you need that moment. You need a big player who's going to say, look, I can do something. You see, he was looking from the maul. Carlos Phillips almost just spins out. Nobody knows she's gone. And they just went through their phases really, really well there. She did a really good job of staying on her feet. Wasn't sure if that hand was on the floor, but, you know, she's on the ball. It's a really good turnover, a bit sloppy from Quins.
Okay, let's go.
Sylvia Tarani is off the field, so on for good this time is Jessie Spuria. And it's Van der Velden who claims this one. And inch by inch, pigeon step by pigeon step, Chiefs exit their 22 and draw the penalty.
Number 4 changed onto the ball carrier.
It's Abby Fleming on this occasion getting on the wrong side of the referee's patience.
And this is what's hard, isn't it, when you're chasing a game, you know, 13 minutes left, just players start to really kind of play with them marginal rules.
Got to find touch, though. And the one person you don't want to find in the absence of touch is Ellie Kildun, who puts through one of her trademark little dinks. Sets off after it, but can't quite regather. Tessier, head on a swivel and seemingly 360 vision. heads up the short side. And right before that packed stand, Chiefs have a little bit of bounce about them now. They're closing in on the result and they can feel it. This would be their first win at Sandy Park since November. Susie Appleby's not been panicking. She was keen to emphasise that in the week.
Yes, the ball is out.
But she was quite eager for them to get back to winning ways, particularly at this crucial point of the season. And just to remind everybody of what a dangerous outfit they are. Peña's arcing run and Buchanan's shots. Grant fancies this one, but Packer decides to go it alone. Buchanan's in over the top. So strong through contacts. But it was Tuima, the hero on that occasion, saves the day at the breakdown. Packer heads skyward, and Tessier, who's had such an impact since arriving. Tackle there by McGovern, potentially off the ball. Peña kicks it onwards, dots it down. Oh my word! Out of absolutely nowhere, precisely nothing. The former Barcelona flyer has backed a bonus point for Harlequins. And the game's right back on.
And it was just so unnecessary. Poppy Leach, there was a big patch across the middle, which could have just carried. But it's the pressure from Quins, isn't it? Don't say die, and this is why they've won their game, finding ways to win. If you're not creating it, you make yourself a bit of luck, and it's a really poor pass from Poppy Leach. Somebody who is a stalwart of Exeter, you know, lives and dies by it. It's just great hustle, isn't it? Really good hustle by Neumann and Peña there.
For the lead. Just as she did in round one, Ella Cromack misses from the tee. The brilliant teenager isn't able to add the extras. So 25 plays at 24 with 9 minutes remaining at Sandy Park.
Wowza. It's honestly like watching it live, you can just feel it. Tension, excitement. Lots of pressure on these players now.
Whatever happens, Harlequins will now leave here with a point. That is the try bonus point in the bag. But they want the win, because then they can go away and put their feet up for a week, safe in the knowledge that they will be back when the rugby becomes knockouts. Packer looks to find Neumann, but instead picks out McDonald. Caitlin Leaney is screaming, appealing to the referee, but the ball stays black. And all of Exeter are down this short side. Look at them flood onwards. Poppy Leach pumping her arms, eager to make amends. McDonald flying up. How she would love to stymie Kildun here. That's become personal. Ball sits up for Tessier. Kildun with a shot decidedly off the ball there. Buchanan. Tackled by Peña, who's been scoring them and clattering them all afternoon.
No arms tackle. Yeah.
There's a no-arms tackle in and amongst all of that, so Chiefs have an advantage. They can really throw the kitchen sink at this attack, but in the absence of a sink, they've got a Rachel Johnson, and that might do just as well.
Still playing advantage.
On the tumble, Robinson picks out Doidge to McGovern, to Claudia McDonald! And Sandy Park is as loud as it has been since November. Exeter hit the front. That's the bonus point. And in a season where points are at a historic premium.
We said it was going to go down to the wire, didn't we? And it really has. That lady on your screen. I mean, this is so ferocious. Ellie Kildun off the ball there, and Alex Tessier. And then it's moved really well through the hands. Not necessarily in an orthodox way, but when you're going to give Claudia McDonald a straight run in, you don't want anybody else doing that job. Great, great bit of composure from Exeter Chiefs there.
15 seconds now.
It's a great finish.
We have been deprived of Claudia MacDonald for so long. Those 2 neck injuries, but she is back. She is back, and Exeter, despite the conversion drifting wide, have a 6-point lead.
Yeah, that was a big conversion there, miss from Liv McGovern, you know, would have put them 8 points clear, especially because we know Quins can score from anything and anywhere.
If we are into the sprint finish of a marathon of a season, then we're rounding onto the home straight of this one. 6 minutes to settle it. We've had 8 tries. We've had an Ellie Kildun wave, several Liv McGovern-inspired brawls, and now we've got turnover ball in the midfield. Leach thought about throwing the pass, but she's learnt her lesson there. Wisdom prevails, ball skittles out, Karis Phillips is upon it. Who wants it? Kildun with the swerve, the fix. Oh my goodness me! We're all out of superlatives for Ellie Kildun. Her 2024 was box office. Highlights reel-worthy stuff from January through to her lifting the World Player of the Year gong in Monaco. And she has picked up right where she left off in 2025.
No, thank you.
Do you know what I love about Ellie Kildun and what people don't give her enough credit for is the competitor in her? Like, that bit with Liv McGovern, all the little extras that have gone on, she's just raised her game again, and it is personal to her. And I think it's exactly what you want from rugby players. That is pure grit and edge and a bagload of talent as well, isn't it? But when you've got that mentality to think, you know what it is, I'm coming for you, that's what you can do. It's lovely, a bit of attack, isn't it? It's ball in 2 hands. It's everything you teach the kids. Make defenders make decisions. Absolutely sold Tessier out into the touchline there. So balanced as well. And as a defender, just got to hold your feet. She goes once, she goes twice. See what it means to her as well.
No wave this time. Pure business from Ellie Kildun. It feels as though we have been playing since the dawn of time. We also don't want it to end. 61 points, 9 tries. And there's just 1 point in it.
Wait. No.
Tessier, fresh from being left for dead by Kildun. It's her turn to beat some defenders. No one today seems able to beat Claudia Pena. That tackle comes good as Robinson slams into Preens.
Use it.
Who's the national captain, Van der Velden, is in over that one. The black caterpillar forms. And Quins have snuck it back.
Yep.
A win for Harlequins, and they are into the semi-finals for the first time since 2022. A win for Exeter Chiefs, and they are in prime position to be back in the playoffs. They have been in each of the last 3 editions of the knockout stages. And all of the bodies flow to the open side. There is space in the backfield, but they keep the ball in hand. And Kildun wonders what moments of magic she might yet conjure up. She's clattered and dragged into touch by Claudia MacDonald, who celebrates as though she has just been crowned heavyweight champion of the world. But the job's not done.
Yeah,
they trail by 1.
There's your marks for the line out.
Yeah, it's a big moment, isn't it, for Quins?
Time off. sure
try and close this game out, but even more so for
review
Exeter,
this.
who were
Okay.
chasing it on a point. I think Ellie Kildun was gesturing to a bit of head
please.
contact, which I think we're going to go back and review now.
George,
Yes.
we only show you an upright tackle head on head.
Okay.
Voice of David Rose, our TMO for the afternoon.
Let me know
He's
when
had
you
a
need the
busy
screen,
couple of
so I'm showing the
hours.
first angle.
Ready, David, thanks.
There's your first angle, George.
Definitely head on head, isn't it?
It's 13 black on 15.
Okay. So there is head contact, there is foul play because the player's upright. She's hit her straight in the head, hasn't she? So I'm not saying this is a high degree of danger, but I think it's still head on head, so I'm thinking yellow card for 13. David, is that what you're seeing as well?
Yep, I'll agree with those facts.
Thank you very much. 13, yellow card.
Nancy McGillivray is shown the third yellow card of this encounter. They're going to have to do it the hard way.
Yeah, they are. And also it gives Quinn's possession, which is also really important. When you've got 90 seconds left on this clock, you need the ball.
The 22-year-old can do nothing but watch and see what Langi Tuima can do with this. Susie Appleby said in this week's press conference that last time out, Saracens made Quins look pretty average. But the big but, she said, is that Quins are no average team. And they have shown today that they really are back at the big time. This group are contenders. It's been a long time since we said that about Harlequins.
Use it.
It really has, but they've just found a way to win, haven't they? I think at times Exeter have been their own worst enemy. Much better performance, but really impressive from Quins.
It's Quins who have it now, and they will be in precisely no hurry to do anything audacious or flashy here. And look at their reams of international forwards queuing up to get hands safely on the ball. 30 seconds. They've the player advantage, they've all the territory. They just have to protect this ball. And a spot in the semi-finals will be theirs. Leaney adds another carry to her tally. It's Sarah Bonner who fancies this one. Grant is there too.
Look at the timer.
The backs can do nothing but watch on as the clock at last heads into the red. Back to Cromack, who sends it into the silent stands at Sandy Park. And Quins return to winning ways with their first win over Exeter in more than 4 years, and in doing so they return to the playoffs for the first time since 2022. Katie, your player of the match.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough, wasn't it? Hope Rogers all day for Exeter. She was brilliant, but my Clinic Game Face player of the match is Ellie Kildun. She, you know, when you need big players to stand up and change the game, today she did it. 2 instrumental tries, but her physicality, her desire, her fight, I think really led that comeback for Quins.
A comeback which sees them through to the playoffs. Chiefs impeccable in 2024, but now just 1 from 4 in the new year. An extraordinary game, 5 changes of lead, full time at Sandy Park. Exeter Chiefs 30, Harlequins 31.